Our first foundational principle was the change formula. 4 steps to help us make a change that we want to make. Is that change permanent? And the answer is no. Well, how do we take the change that we started and make it more permanent and master that change and make it a long-term behavior? And this third foundational principle is the one that we go to next. It's called the cycle of mastery. It's got 4 steps to it. And the first one is everything starts with a foundation of attitude. Now, there are a lot of people who come to change and they say, well, I have to make this change for one reason or another. Do you think if you have to do something that you're actually going to do it? And most people don't. They'll find every excuse in the book not to do it. So in order to begin this cycle of mastery and make a long-term habit out of something that you want to change, the first attitude is that I want to make this change. Then you move to I can make this change. And then the third attitude step is, please show me how to make this change. No long-term behavior is changed unless this attitude process takes place first. So now we're in an attitude of, yeah, I want to make this change. I want it to be a long-term change for my life because I know how positive it is. So I'm in the attitude of show me how. What's next? What's next is, now that you're open, we're going to give you some knowledge about how to make that change. So the key here is to make sure that there's the right amount of knowledge at the right time. So if we teach you things too fast, you're going to get overwhelmed, you're going to shut down, and then you're not going to make the change. If we teach things too slow, then it's not going to work because you're going to get bored, you're going to shut down, and then you're not going to make the change. So when we get to this step, be open, keep your show me attitude open, accept the knowledge that we give you. We'll pace it so that it's the right amount of knowledge at the right time for you, and then we'll be able to move to the next step. Because we know that reading a book or listening to a seminar or listening to a teacher in front of the room is really not going to change your behavior totally. You're going to get an idea or two, but unless you do something with that idea, nothing's really going to happen. So now we move past it. We've got a good attitude. We've got some knowledge. Now what happens? Now we've got to practice the knowledge so that it becomes a normal part of our life. So we're going to practice over and over again in order to build this knowledge into a habit pattern. So in sports, it's called muscle memory. So when we practice, our muscles develop the memory over time that it now becomes second nature for us to take that action, and it has become a long-term behavior for us. Well, the mind is a muscle in the same way, and it has that muscle memory. We need to practice the way we think and the way we act in order for us to master that. Now, are we practicing the right things right? Maybe we got a good idea, but every time we go out to practice it, it doesn't work for us. Well, if we keep doing it over and over again, the only thing that's going to happen is we're going to get good at not doing it well. If we want to do it well and establish a good behavior pattern, then we want to practice with a coach, because the coach is going to help us practice the right things right. And as you go through the program, your life skills coach is going to help you take the knowledge that you're gaining and put it into a behavior pattern that you can practice and practice it right. And the fourth step of the process to master anything is to repeat that process over and over again. Now, will you master something the first time that you go through the cycle? No, but if you go from attitude to knowledge to practicing with a coach and you repeat that enough, that will become a long-term behavior pattern in your muscle memory and in your thought memory, and it will be a successful pattern for you to change your life to become the one that you want it to be.